Hi, everyone, and I want to start by saying welcome to this free land investing course. You're in the right place, and whether or not you are somebody that's been just thinking about land, somebody that has no knowledge of it whatsoever, or somebody that's actually done some deals, maybe even seasoned, we welcome you, and you're going to get a lot of information here, and we're happy that you are joining us. So, I'm just going to take a very brief moment and tell you a little bit about me since this course is out here and it's free, and this may be the very first thing that you're seeing from us. I just want to give you a little bit of a background and so that you can understand where I'm coming from and what I'm bringing to you. So, again, my name is Jonathan, and basically, for my entire adult life, I have been in real estate and I've done all different types of real estate deals. I started off in brokerage. I did some commercial stuff. I focused on doing rehabs and lease options, and we did some stuff with fix and flips. We did just flipping in general. And then in 2008, when the crash happened, we kind of pivoted and we started focusing on short sale and REO flips and things like that. One thing that we did was we started looking at vacant land investing. This was in the early 2010s, 2011 time. We started looking at land investing as a way to supplement our housing investments. And at that point, we said, you know what, we are going only to land. A year into using land to just supplement it, we decided to only focus on land investing and have done so since. Done over 1,000 deals in that time, have helped numerous people become land investing run successful land investing businesses themselves. And so, again, happy that you are here and taking advantage of this and looking to do the same thing. So, that being the case, you may be asking the question that you see there on your screen: why land? Why land as opposed to other forms of investing? And the bottom line is that we are conditioned to really not look at land, right? We are conditioned to more look at housing. I mean, if you look at anything that's out there, any infomercial, any strategy, any sort of show that's on television when it comes to real estate, it's all about houses, right? That's the it thing. That's the thing that you want to go after. So that's the way that we're conditioned. And of course, the way that these things work is they always show the best possible scenarios, right? There you see them go in and they have these terrible houses that are just falling apart, and somehow they only put in $50,000 and they turn them into these amazing transformations, and they make six figures plus on the deal. And of course, we know that that's not the way it really is in life, but that's what they put out there to try to get you hooked. Well, the thing is, with land, none of that stuff that I just mentioned exists. Now, it's not the pretty thing, it's not the sexy thing like they try to make houses, but it is still a very viable real estate investing option, and for a number of different reasons. One, land has a much lower barrier of entry than it does for housing. When we first started, we were buying pieces of land for just a few $100s. Now, given we were only selling them for a few $1,000s, but that is a much lower barrier of entry for people that are just looking to get started and really don't have any capital to invest with, right? And so there's tons of properties like that all over the country that you can invest in. And that's an example there of why you want to look at land. Another reason that you want to look at land is there's just no issues when it comes to land like there are in houses. So, for example, when you think about a house, and I can tell you about our very last house deal, we were actually getting ready to move it towards closing, and there was a fire in the house. And we had to wait, and things got delayed because of that fire. That doesn't exist, right? With vacant land. There's not repair issues. There's not any issues with inspections going wrong. There's no issues with appraisals going wrong. All of these things that exist in traditional real estate with structures are simply eliminated when it comes to vacant land. Another reason why vacant land stands out so much is the lack of competition. Now, are there other people doing this? I mean, we're teaching it, we're doing it. We mentioned students and all of that. Of course, right? There's obviously people doing this out there, but it's nowhere near the amount of people that are in the housing world, right? I live in a small town, and in my small town, I know that I am the only full time land investor, but there's a handful of full-time house investors here. Also, on top of that, if you went to like a larger city, you may have, a few people that are full-time land investors, where you're probably going to run into hundreds, if not thousands, of full-time house investors. So there's a lot less competition. And finally, the last thing I'll talk about is that there's just so much more of it. People tend to think of real estate and they think about the structures. But if you were to take every piece of property in this country and you that have a structure on them and you were to put it in one location, it would basically be about the state of Arizona. So what does that tell you? It tells you that 49 other states would all be vacant. So only that one little part of the country would have structures on it while the rest remains vacant. Now, obviously, not every piece of land is usable. Some of those are owned by the government. In fact, a lot of it is owned by the government still. Some of it's just wetlands and swamplands and things like that that just aren't usable. But that only really accounts for about half of it. So if you were to think about it that way and break it all down, basically, if you were to look at real estate and say how much real estate has structures on it, and you're looking at the United States, it would basically be about the size of the state of Arizona. And then if you took off half of the country and said, well, half of it's not usable, it's owned by the government and things like this, that still leaves you with about half of the country left, many more times the size of the state of Arizona left with land. So it just shows you there's so much more opportunity out there because the vast majority of properties in this country are still vacant. So those are a few different reasons why land makes sense. A little bit about me. Continue on and get a little bit deeper knowledge here as we go through these different things and help you on your land investing journey.